Hello and a very warm welcome from my side. It's a pleasure to welcome you at our third program point for today from our virtual press trip. My name is Katrin and I do work for the Austrian National Tourist Office. Before we get started, just some technical information. We do have a Q&A section, so whatever question you have, you can always post it. We will have then, after the input from the region, time to answer all those questions. If we really run out of time, there will be all answers given in a written form in the follow-up anyhow. So whatever's on your mind, just write down your question and we will take care of that. But now I'm very happy to take all of you to the Pitztal. Let's go.
A warm welcome from the Pitztal Valley, another side valley of Tirol. My name is Elena Protopopov from the Tirol Tourist Board. Right now we are at the Steinbone Bakery at the Hochzeiger Bottom Station. Beside me is Manuela Draxl from the Hochzeiger Marketing Department, and today we guide you together through several topics such as forest recovery, but most importantly the stone pine cone, which is also called silver in German. So Manuela Draxl, hello.
Hello.
Could you tell me what can we or the guests experience in the Pitztal Valley in general?
Hello Elena, hello everybody. I'm very pleased to be able to give you some information today about the Pitztal and especially about the stone pine, also known as Queen of the Alps. The 40-kilometer long Pitztal offers for nature lovers many different places where you can feel at one with nature. At the beginning of the valley we have lovely fields and meadows. In the middle of the valley, here at Hochzeiger, you can explore one of the most beautiful pinestone forests in Tirol. And there are also several waterfalls here in Pitztal. And at the end of the Pitztal, there is a high alpine glacier world.
Really interesting, and also mention it, Manuela, the Pitztal Valley also has a glacier region, and the guests also have the possibilities to find wide and bright walks. But it's not all about sports. It's also about relaxing in the nature and the forests.
Yes, of course. Since last year, spending out in the nature has become more important for people. Especially spending time in the forest is very important for the people. There you can relax your body and your soul. For many, it also has become a connect to get back to your roots. So in the forest, you can switch off your daily worries, you can enjoy the silence, and you can take a deep breath of all what nature has to offer. And these feelings are even stronger in a stone pine forest.
Sounds really good, and I guess we're all searching for the nature and for silence and going back to our core values. But before we dive more into the topic, you will see a video with some impressions of the Pitztal Valley. Beautiful impressions. It was wonderful to see all those great waterfalls. Manuela, but I would have a question. What is the difference between the stone pine tree and the other trees, and what makes it so special?
The stone pine tree only grows on an altitude of 1,800 to 2,200 meters. And it can grow to a high about 25 meters, and it can become up to 400 years. No other tree grow at this altitude. Here it is exposed to extremely weather conditions. For example, it has to survive 400 hot and dry summers and 400 cold and hard winters. There are avalanches, rock slides, and various dangers. And that's the reason why the stone pine grows so slowly. For example, a 10-year-old tree is only 35 centimeters high.
Wow.
You can also recognize the Zirbe, on her unique smell, and it is the only tree that has 5 needles on a short tuft. It is also said to have positive and harmonizing effects on human well-being, such as calming effects to your heartbeat. And many people who sleep in a stone pine bed feel more rested in the morning. And we also use the stone pine in the kitchen.
Really?
Yes.
Have you ever tried something in the kitchen with the stone pine?
Oh, we had many ideas.
Yeah.
Elena, have you ever tried stone pine coffee?
Not until yet, unfortunately.
Then I have a special tip for you. In summer, our team gives culinary workshops to the Zirbe. There we explain how to use the stone pine in the kitchen, with which ingredients it harmonizes and which should be considered. And there you can have, for example, you can taste a stone pine soup, a stone pine mustard, a stone pine coffee, or a marinade for your next barbecue. And last but not least, you can sip on a homemade Zirben liqueur.
Sounds really delicious. I have definitely to try it. And I can almost also smell the Zirbe in here in the bakery. So yes, thank you for the tips, Manila. Definitely have to try it. Besides those experience, the Hochzeiger also has some other great spots as the ZirbenPark. Could you tell me, Manuela, what can guests experience in the ZirbenPark?
Yes, the ZirbenPark was opened in the year 2015. It is situated on the Hochzeiger Middle Station, directly at the top station of the gondolas. It is a 1 kilometer long trail through the forest. And there are 17 little stops around the trip with interesting facts about the stone pine. And I'm sure everybody will find there a favorite place. And the possibilities are also unlimited because we always continue new attractions and develop and add them every year into the ZirbenPark.
Sounds great. I can imagine it's perfect for families. So it's a really family-friendly area.
Yes, of course. Families can also meet our 2 mascots in the ZirbenPark. They are called Pitztal and Gratsch. Pitztal is an Alpine ibex who lives here in Pitztal, and Gratsch is his friend. Gratsch is an Austrian dialect word for a bird who's called Tannenhare, and he collects from the cones the nuts, and then he put them into the forest floor where they later grow up to new stone pines.
Great. I also saw you have brought some nuts from the stone pine and also some cones. And yeah, the smell is really great. And
yes. These are some pine cones. When you want to use them in the kitchen, you should not pick them up before July and not after mid-August, because the taste when you put it after or before is not so good. And also the color when you like to make your own homemade liqueur is not so red, it's more brown. And so best time is from mid-July to mid-August. And these are some wooden chips. They you can put in a pillow and then you hopefully have wonderful dreams.
Good to know. Thank you, Manuela. I definitely also have to try the liqueur. Thank you. So that was the input from my side. Let's see if we have received some questions until so far. Let's check.
Well, actually, the questions are certainly coming in. Maybe before focusing on the stone pine itself, I would start with a question that is more about the Pitztal in general. we all saw now that it's actually an amazing region for some recreation and really get in touch with nature, but also active holidays are certainly part of it, especially now talking about the Hochzeiger, where also the ZirbenPark is located. What would there be good ideas or suggestions to combine both active elements as well as recreation?
Concerning mountaineering and hiking, people here who are familiar to alpine and natures, it's a perfect spot for them because it's also accessible for people of all ages. So like for grandparents with their grandchildren, but also for people who are beginners or who have started to hike and walk. So that's, I guess, important advantage also of the Hochzeiger. And for example, they have a lot of peaks, 50 peaks all over 3,000 meters above sea level. For example, yes, the peak in question is the Sechsteiger. It's almost 2,500 meters. So that's a great choice for the beginners, but also for advanced people, because you can start in the valley station, but you can also start in the middle station and then walk up to the summit. So it's perfect for everyone.
That sounds certainly very good. The first questions are already coming in also about the stone pine in particular. And maybe just to answer something myself, because you also mentioned it at the beginning, but I just want to state it again. Yes, the stone pine is also what we know in German as Zirbe. So everything made out of Zirbe, wood of the Zirbe, is the same as stone pine. First of all, for the explanation, because that was also asked once again. But moreover, there is another question. So you already mentioned many different products that can be made out of stone pine. Are there also really local producers in Pitztal, or can you give us some examples of them?
Yes, we have many local producers here in Pitztal. For example, we have a stone pine oil extraction plant here at the Rheinstadler sawmill. This is this one. They extract 100% pure oil from all components of the stone pine. For example, the bark, the needles, and so on. Then they cut them, and then you get wood chips. And from these wood chips, they distillate to 100% oil. And we use the oil, for example, put it into the coffee. And there are also other companies here in Pitztal who also produce various things about the stone pine. For example, here we have soap, marinades, and so on. There are also pillows and stone pine beds. But there we have really a very high variety of products.
That sounds very good, and it kind of also fits into the next question that was asked in the chat. Are there actually also any kind of stone pine spa treatments or something beauty-wise that you can experience or try?
I guess you also have some oils where you can take a bath with the stone pine oil.
Yes, there are many hotels here in the region who have stone pine rooms. And there you can also take baths with everything from the Zirbe, and so you can feel it on your body and also the unique smell for your soul.
Perfect. I should certainly try that myself, I have to say. Another question that is more about the Pitztal once again in general, so maybe I can give that question to you, Elena, is if there are any several-day hiking tours in the valley, so in Pitztal, where you can maybe go from one hut to the other for 4, 5, 6 days. So is there anything possible in the area?
Yeah, there are absolutely several possibilities for hut-to-hut walk. We also have some different wide and bright walking paths. So it's also for those people who search for a longer walk and hike, who are more the advanced hikers. And so you definitely have the possibility here in the Pitztal Valley region.
Super, thank you very much. Apparently not everybody's only interested in summer, but also in winter. So we got the question, if the current, or what is the current status actually of the plans to connect both the Pitztal ski area with other ski areas?
I guess it was also in consultation that those two skiers wanted to connect. I guess it's not really clear when this will happen. We also will receive information and more details about it. But the current situation right now is it's still in consultation about to connect those ski areas.
Yes, and there are 3 ski resorts here in Pitztal. They are called Hochzeiger here in Jerzens. Then it is Rifelsee and the Pitztal Glacier in St. Leonhard. And you can buy a ski pass for the whole area.
Super. So there's certainly enough ski area to experience, even if you just stay in one valley. As you also mentioned now, the glacier for skiing. Can you maybe tell us how long the skiing season lasts on the glacier? So is there still a possibility to go skiing there now, also when international travelers are allowed or are welcome again in Austria and all the touristical infrastructure is open? Or when does the ski season on the glacier start?
Currently, it is possible to go skiing on the Pitztal Glacier. The season this year ends on the 6th of June. So you have at the moment the possibility to go skiing here in the glacier. And before or after you can go hiking in Jerzens or in Arzelwenz after skiing. So it's green floor and white mountains.
Certainly a perfect combination. And I think that's also what we saw in the video at the beginning. Maybe now again, not so much about skiing on the glacier, but once again about hiking in the region. Are there any tours that you would recommend for families so that are rather easy also for younger children, or a nice way to try out what hiking is like for kids, or what would be best to experience it as a family, from your opinion?
Yes, of course, the ZirbenPark here at Hochzeiger with his 17 stops, but there are also in Pitztal different ways to go, and there are enough choices here in Arzelwenz, Jerzens and St. Leonhard. I think it is for everybody the best trail here in Pitztal.
What we've also seen in the video actually was a very beautiful waterfall. Could you maybe tell us what waterfall that was and how you can reach it, or is it also accessible with a hiking tour? So just tell us more about that.
I think it was the waterfall. It is situated in Jerzens, and this waterfall can be reached from Jerzens on an afternoon hike, about 1.5 hours. It's family friendly, and you go into a wooden platform, and there you can have a look on the waterfall and a panoramic view to the forest.
I certainly have to do that if I ever get done with my stone pine spa treatments when I'm in the area with you. Maybe another question. So there is a new Ibex museum in St. Leonhard. Is that already open? So is it ready, or is it still in the process of opening? Can you give us some information about that?
The Ibex center is definitely open. It opened last year in autumn, and there are about 15 or 20 Ibex there, so you can have a directly watch on these beautiful animals. And you get there a lot of information also about the valley and also about these special animals.
We go now once again back to other summer activities. So we already discussed and seen different options for hiking, but is there actually also like lakes to go swimming, maybe in the mountains? So really also to experience water in nature with going to swim or just enjoying it?
Yes, there are many seas in the mountains. They are very, very beautiful, but most of the time they are really very cold because of the high. The view there is really, really beautiful, but swimming is no good idea. Therefore, we can offer you the Pitztal in Wenz. This is a swimming pond, and I think that would be the best option when you would like to go swimming.
at least if you want to stay in the water for more than, let's say, 30 seconds or something. Another question.
That's a possibility.
I mean, it's also nice to be refreshed for like half a minute or something, but I can understand that if you really talk about swimming, it's maybe nicer to be more down in the valley than really high in the mountains. We also received a question about a Pitztal summer card. Is there such a thing, and what does it include actually?
Yes, in Pitztal we have a Pitztal summer card. It is, many selected hotels offer them, so you get the summer card at your landlord, and it includes a lot of services. For example, you can use per day one cable car or the XP Adventure Trail park here in Pitztal, and there are also included the visit to museums, to the Pitzpark Pond, to the Ibex Center in St. Leonhard, and you also can use with this card the local bus system without paying anything. And you get it at your hotel, and it is included at your hotel stay.
That's maybe a good ending of a question that leads to the next one, as you mentioned the buses. There was also the question, how can you actually reach the valley? So how can you go to Pitztal by public transportation? Are there any possibilities? How does the situation look like to get there?
Yes, at the beginning of the valley on Pitztal we have a railjet station, yes. And from there you get with the local buses to the Pitztal, but the most of the visitors come by drive with their car to Pitztal, but the possibility is here that you can come by train and then go with the bus to your accommodation and also to the cable cars and so on.
Super, thank you very much. Another question is also somehow concerning mobility, but now really talking about the ZirbenCards that you also offer at the ZirbenPark, at the intermediate station of the Hochzeiger. What are the ZirbenCards? What can you do with them? And also, just because it's a rather update information, how are the corona restrictions or measurements? So is it safe to take the ZirbenCards? How do you handle that?
The ZirbenCards are also called mountain go-karts. They have 3 wheels and a brake and ergonomic seats. And you can drive with them from the top station of Sechsteiger to the middle station to Sechsteiger on a way. And you are allowed about 12 years, you can drive your own car, one adult or one child who's 12 or older. And it's really, really safe. And it's,
I guess we also wanted to mention.
At the moment I find the word.
The businesses in the tourism sector are all well prepared. We all have to wear the FFP2 mask and also have to keep a 2 meters distance. So I guess, yes, the guests, we can guarantee also them, safety, because safety is our top priority. So all the businesses also here are well prepared.
Yes, and everybody can choose his own private gondola for the descent and the ascent. And I think that would be a great choice this summer.
Sounds very good, actually. And I can imagine that, especially if you're with a family, it's rather important that you can really say, okay, I do know if I go up the mountain, I have my own gondola, and just to be on the safer side. And I think that's some very good measurements that are really taken into practice at your region. One question about accommodation. So is it more that you have several larger hotels, or is it more smaller family-run hotels, apartments, bed and breakfast? So how can we imagine the accommodation situation in Pitztal?
We have about 400 landlords here in Pitztal, and the variety is really here because we have 3- and 4-star hotels. Also, as you can be on a farm at your stay here in Pitztal, but there are also apartments, and there is a really wide and you can decide what you want, and I'm sure you will find the best for you here.
Great, thank you very much. Once again, we got the question about the offer for families in the region, and I would rather even ask, what are in general the possibilities for families besides hiking in the region in general, but even more specifically, what can children experience at the ZirbenPark?
Yes, in the ZirbenPark, we have 17 stops. There, for example, we have an adventure tower, which is 12 meter high, has a wooden platform and a 16-meter long rock slide. And they also can put their nuts into the floor, and so they can have a look if they also can make such wooden chips, and really very interesting things. And together with the two mascots, Bitsy and Grudge, it would never become boring.
Very good. So maybe then one last question, which more or less considers the way of going to Pitztal once again. So is there actually the possibility to also go there by train? As you've mentioned before, most of the people arrive by car. Would there be an alternative that you also reach the valley by train?
The next railway station is Pitztal. It's in the front of the Pitztal, and from this railway station you can use one of the local buses, and then you get with the bus to the Pitztal, to your accommodation, or to the cable cars.
Super, thank you very much. And I think with all those questions, we've already got a lot of information and a lot of insights. Manuela, Elena, I thank you very much for all the input and for all the honest and very detailed answers. If there are now still some more questions coming in, once again, we will answer all of them in a written form in our follow-up. But by now, I just want to thank you, first of all, for participating in our program point in Pitztal. And once again, I thank the two of you very much for giving us all the information. And I
Thank you.
I really hope that you are now enjoying your stone pine cappuccino or something like that. And if it's a liquor, it's also all right. Just enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.